Good morning, everyone. This has been done. I'm hoping this audio comes in pretty clearly this time. I've been having some people say that the audio has been too low. So hoping this will fix things, as they say. I'm not a professional. I have a very makeshift operation here. I'm just one guy spouting off into a mic, posting stuff on YouTube, hoping that people hear what I have to say, whether they agree with me or not. I am the founder of Antarctic Press, a comic book publishing company established in 1985, and creator of such comics as Ninja High School, Warrior Nun, Tomorrow Girl, Mighty Tiny, Penguina, Marvel Mangaverse, and a host of others comics, so to speak. So, the YouTube's been around quite a bit. I remember when it first started off, I didn't know really what to make of it. It was like a new thing. Nobody really knew what it was. I think initially it was meant for people just to share videos with each other, just to post random stuff, the kind of things you would see on America's Most Funniest Home Videos, things like that. Maybe talk about stuff that they didn't like or liked or wanted to promote something, things like that. It was a pretty much wild, wild west back then. People could pretty much post anything, and YouTube didn't care. It was meant to be a platform, and that's what it was supposed to be. People forget that sometimes. Now it's huge, and it's very corporate. It got bought out by Google, for I don't know how much money, but it must have been quite a bit. And then when Google took over, they immediately instigated changes that took away freedoms from YouTube, had to go through gatekeepers now, had to worry about copyright, had to do this, had to do that, blah, blah, blah. It was no longer fun anymore, But it has a huge reach. There's no doubt about it. It is the big dog on campus as far as posting independent and personal media is concerned. Now, there are rivals popping up. They don't have the kind of reach that YouTube currently has, and who's to say, years from the line, that they become more popular? Who knows? Maybe someday. But I have noticed there is one thing that seems to be quite prevalent in the YouTube space. They are what I call professional complainers. People who love to complain, love to point out other people's mistakes, love to say this, that, and the other, love to say that, what they're doing is garbage, that they're garbage people, that they don't care, that they ignore, that they should listen to them, give them advice in how to improve things, and they monetize that. I don't have anything against that. It's a free capitalistic free market society. If people want to support them, then that is their right to do so. If people want to give them money, that's also their right to do so. People vote with their dollars. That's just the way it is. And I'm not going to sit here and, grouse about these professional complainers because they're making a living. Be it far from me to deny them that. If they have success in that field, good for them. Good for them. But I often wonder, how positive is that to our society, to our discourse, to our overall well-being. Is complaining about something really, that useful? To be honest, yeah. If there's something egregious, that is being done and to perpetrate, to deceive. It's one thing to share information and point that out to people, yes. But just point it out. Tell, hey, this is what they're doing, and let people make their own decisions. It's what journalists used to do. There's a old TV show called Dragnet. I'm not sure if you remember that show. It was a very popular TV show back in the day. And there used to be a saying that one of the characters would say, "Just the facts, ma'am." And the thing is, sometimes we just want just the facts. We don't want your spin on it. We don't want your take on it. We don't want your opinion on it. We just want the facts. Let us decide, how to react. Yeah. It's especially in the entertainment sphere. There's a lot of YouTubers out there who are just complaining about this, complaining about that, saying this, that, and the other, and they're saying, oh, they should have done this, they should have done that, they complain about this, they complain about that, but what are they really doing other than just complaining? Are they doing anything positive? If they're so good, so talented, why don't they create something of their own? Some of them have. I will grant you that. Some of them have taken up the challenge, and some have done things within the entertainment industry to, give them credence to their opinions, to their complaining. It's one thing to actually do something within a certain industry, and you experienced it, you've done it, and then you have more or less the gravitas, and the and the knowledge to be able to point out things that you feel are, mistakes, they feel like things that shouldn't be done, but that's because they've experienced it. They know what it's like. And then there are those who have no experience. The only experience they have is, I watched the movie. I watched the TV show. I was a fan of this. I was a fan of that. That gives me the right to complain, Yeah, well, it may give you the right to complain, sure. That's totally within and people can listen to it. That's fine too. But I also think that for me personally, you may disagree with me, and that's of course your right to do so. Is that what's the point? What are you trying to say? Are you just trying to stir up trouble so you can get people to pay attention? Look at me! Look at me! Look, I'm complaining. I'm doing this. Look. I'd rather spend my time not complaining, and creating. I'm always trying to think of something to do, that is positive. You can spend time to do things that are negative, of course, but be prepared for the backlash. A lot of people think that what they do has no consequence, that they're free to just do whatever they want, say whatever they want. Yeah, you have the right to do that. Just be prepared for the consequence. A lot of people don't understand what consequence is. Consequence is the result of your action. Because, like Newton's law says, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You think that what you say and what you do won't come back to haunt you? No. Every little minute thing you do will result in some sort of reaction. They say that lies eventually become uncovered. They eventually reveal themselves. They say that cheating eventually reveals itself. Stealing, being dishonest eventually reveals itself. All these things that people are doing, they think will have no consequence, are sorely mistaken. People have long memories. People, things can react in ways that have profound effect on that person later on. May not happen to them now, may not happen to them later, but eventually things like that catch up. Some people get away with it. I'll grant you that. Some people have. They've been very, very clever in the way they've covered things up, or people just they fly under the radar. They keep quiet. It always befuddles me why people would do something illegal and then post it online. You would have to have a pretty low IQ to do that, and to encourage people to do things that are illegal. That's the epitome of stupidity, in my humble opinion. Whether you agree with me or not, it's totally up to you. But you think about it, it's just something that never would occur to some people who just have no thought of what they say or do. They just feel they can get away with it. Now, eventually, when you do something to somebody else and you hurt that person, it's going to come back. It's going to come back. When you assault somebody, when you attack somebody, you think that doesn't resonate with that other person. You think they're just going to take that lying down and say, "Oh yeah, I don't care." I mean, the thing is that they may not get an instant reaction, but they'll remember. People have attacked me before. I mean, in the past, I remember. The thing about it is that, how much are you going to let that affect you? But Ben, I have the right to defend myself. Of course. Well, of course you have the right to defend yourself. But, you should choose your battles very carefully. Because once you engage in battle, then you better be fully committed to it. Once you've declared war on somebody, then there can only be one victor. The thing about it is that sometimes it can come back to haunt you, because history is replete of that, with examples of over the top reactions to something where the consequences were devastating. There's many examples of that, and you have to look at yourself and ask yourself, is it worth it? Is what I'm going to do worth it? Am I prepared to suffer the consequence of this action, especially one that affects other people? When you make your own reaction that affects only yourself, then that's one thing. But when you start affecting other people, that's a totally different thing altogether. What I do here, how does that affect somebody else? If your first reaction is to be negative, attack people, treat them with disrespect, insult them, and you don't even know them, how are they going to remember you in the future? What if you cross paths with them again? What if they're in a superior position? It's just, oh yes, I remember you. Didn't you say? I mean, I could pull countless examples of that. My brother and I usually talk a lot about things, especially in the comic industry, the entertainment industry, and all these people who feel like they're somehow justified in their criticism of other people don't realize what may not realize. I mean, they may be fully aware of it, but and they're fully prepared for the consequence. But you think that, if they may have success on a personal level, maybe they're doing just fine, and that's all that's all they want. But if they want, perhaps maybe get like a TV deal or a movie deal, something bigger than what they have, and they've insulted somebody in the past, especially someone in this industry. We're a small industry, believe it or not. People know each other, and everything you say gets exposed eventually. You may come across someone and say, "Oh yeah, didn't you just say this to me? Yeah, I think we'll pass on your project." It's just, that's human nature. Human nature is that we don't want to be insulted or disrespected. You think that all these people who work hard on something, spent months, years on a project, which they, you know, they want people to enjoy, only to have people, some rando come up and say, what a piece of crap that was. How does that reflect on the people who worked on it? I mean, that's just, that's just, and it's their property. They can do whatever they want. They had to be prepared for the consequence of, people not going to support their project. That's the beauty of the free market. People vote with their dollars. They eventually decide what is good and what isn't good. Now, some projects have been vindicated, but usually by then it's too late. It's like some things have become to be underrated classics, cult classics, have been before their time. But that's not the point. The point was that they were trying to make it a success at that moment. I mean, right now, I refuse to partake in this professional complainer class. Oh, here I am complaining about professional complaining, right? Isn't that ironic? But I'm not really complaining in it so much that I'm complaining for complaining's sake. I'm just pointing out things that is detrimental, I think, overall to the health of both the industry, the comic industry, the entertainment industry, really any industry in general. No, the only exception, of course, is politics. All's fair in love and politics. You have to be prepared to go to the totality of that. And but again, even there, you had to prepare for the consequence. So I just wanted to talk about those of you out there who are professional complainers. I don't hate you. You have every right to do what you want, but you really need to think about what you're doing. What is the overall goal that you're trying to achieve? Are you just trying to create clickbait, try to create subscribers, try to create view counts, just so you can monetize it? Well, okay. If that's your goal, then more power to you. But I've learned eventually people get tired of that. People just don't want to hear it anymore. It all it does is create animosity and anger. It somehow drives them, to perhaps find something more peaceful to enjoy. I mean, if everything is garbage, then what's left? I'm lucky because I can create my own stuff, and I do love it. I love creating new things. I'm always coming up, sketching new ideas, coming up with new, things I want to do. Reach out to people I want to make friends with. Want to get to know. Because I feel like, that's to me more positive. Share, exchange ideas. How much could we accomplish if we were all unified? We helped each other out. How much could we actually do if we just listened to each other? People who make stuff, who they think that they're so arrogant in their power, they're so secure in their power, they can do whatever they want. Damn the torpedoes. But no, everything is temporary. Everybody eventually turns to dust. What we do here now may not matter once we're gone. So right now, we should all live together. I'm in peace and harmony. But I know, Ben, that's pretty naive. Well, maybe, perhaps so. I may be living in a panacea world. But in my little corner of it, my tiny little sliver, of the entertainment industry, my minuscule, minute little tiny island in the middle of a vast sea of entertainment, I'm hoping to carve out a peaceful kingdom where people can come and relax, enjoy themselves, be at peace, have a good time, have fun. Comics are supposed to be fun, and I'm hoping to bring that back. Go back to the fundamentals of comics. Make comics accessible, enjoyable, entertain people. That's the thing, is that content, that's the thing that people want, is content. They want good content that gets them to think, gets them to be entertained, have some fun. It's just one of those things that we at Anarch Press and me personally want to achieve, and on a personal level. As you know, maybe we're shouting at against the hurricane, but you know what? We'll keep doing it because that's what we want. And we're hoping that we can bring as many people with us as we can. Hopefully, we can grow our kingdom so that we have citizens that will be happy with their lives, be successful with their lives, share their stories, basically. So, if you feel like I've kind of rambled on long enough, if you like what you've heard, please like and subscribe. I'm hoping to spread the word, basically, about positivity in comics. I'm actually thinking of changing my name to Positivity in Comics, but I was thinking, well, I think surviving comics, people I guess are sort of used to that now, and I'm not always going to be positive. I'll be honest with you. There are going to be days where I'm going to be slightly off color, as they say, a little spicy, a little, so be prepared for that. So until next time, do what you will, harm no one. This has been done. Signing off.